additions or corrections?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting as presented.
Second.
Any more discussion? One thing,
Should we,
yeah, we do
should we
have two
specify the
sets.
date?
Yeah, we have two separate previous meetings, one for the special meeting and one for the regular meeting.
Of the August 13th.
Okay,
I second that.
got that, Pam? Okay, so for the August 13th meeting. Now, any more discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then for the second one, for the special meeting, anyone have any additions or corrections to that?
I make a motion to accept the August 20th budget
I'll
meeting
second.
as presented.
Then moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the August 20th, 18 meeting as presented. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Okay, bills and financial statements.
Take a look at payroll journal. You also have one at your desk. Bottom page 1, blue stem quarry, which goes on page 2. That was work done at the grade school for the cement work that was done between the. A lot of it was done between the gym and the kitchen area. Do the railings. This was due to our insurance company. We had to do some upgrades.
At the top of page 1, whose bus is number 13?
That was bus 13, one of our small buses. We had to put a new windshield, had a crack in it.
Okay.
Can't have inspection. Anything else, page 1 or 2? Okay, page 3, file safe, that's our security system. We'll have one more payment yet. Page 4, the sportswear, that's for a high school track. It's cross country and track. Use it for both.
How many was that?
18.
You said high school?
Yes. Bottom page 5, my repair, bus 2118, those batteries, the lights, that was part of the inspection. Page 7, the Lightspeed web filter. That's our that's our final payment on that. It was a 3-year for our web filter. Any other question on that? You also have one at your desk. Bottom of page 2, Mike's Plumbing, replaced electric box. That was work done in the grade school gym. The lighting, the lights.
What kind of supplies did Ben Lambert to purchase at the bottom of page 1? Just curious.
I'm not sure.
Football, when they're practicing football, they have some kind of a protective thing to help them with. You order it online,
Yeah.
cut that price.
Teach form tackling, safety.
But any other questions? Favorable journal?
On the first packet on the back of page 8, we went past, was that brought at the shop for Mr. Keller's?
Where you at?
On the back of page 8 in the first packet. World Pest Control, $35. Is that in Mr. Keller's shop?
Yes,
area?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Any others? Questions? Okay, expense budget report on page 4. Yeah, expenditures, again, 249,000 so far this year compared to 256 last year. Percent 89.29. Last year was 88.60.
I move we accept the bills and financial statements as presented.
Been moved and seconded that we accept the bills and financial statements as presented. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Welcome all of our guests. Got a lot of you out here, so I won't name you all, but thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate you being here. And with that, we'll move on to our agenda. And the first thing is grade school report, and Jude says he's given that, so we'll move that down to the principal reports. And site
Site
council.
council.
Is that you, Stephanie?
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for
Okay,
being
that's what
here.
I figured.
We elected new officers tonight. Tammy Klein is gonna be president again. Callie Keller is gonna be vice chair, and Bernie Ladd's gonna be the secretary for us for this upcoming year. We had a couple of seniors come and talk to us. I think they're gonna talk tonight, so it was nice to see Stuco was there to help represent. We like to hear their side of what's going on and everything, so we were very happy to have 2 of them with us, so. Mr. Steckline gave us updates, which they're gonna give you, and so did Mr. Starkey. We had a parent concern about some bus issues and bus routes, just some ideas and suggestions of kind of looking into those, and shared that with us. And, Mr. Steckline's gonna, I think, talk a little bit more with them
Yes.
and look into it, so.
Okay.
We have that, and then, I think that covers everything. Any questions? We have some members going off also, we talked about that, and some new ones coming on. We don't know exactly who those are for sure, what they will be, so I can let you know more of that next month as well, so. Because they're a 3-year rotation, so. Mr. Starkey and Mr. Steckline can't get off, we told them, but everybody else we were gonna let rotate off if they want to, so.
No one else has any more questions for site council? Okay, seniors, who gets to do the honor?
Okay. I'm Bailey Evans, I'm the senior class president, and I'm here on behalf of the senior class. We would like to request that we be able to use our class funds to book a cruise for our senior class trip, which would take place after graduation. And we also held a parent and student meeting to get parent approval, and we had, as of the meeting, we had 12 yeses, 2 maybes, and 4 nos.
How many maybes?
4. Oh, sorry, 2, sorry. 2.
12, 2, and 4, right?
Yes.
I have a question on
Yes.
this. On the kids that their parents were not there or they were not there, how was that counted?
Okay, well, we just kept this from the last meeting, but I know there have been updates. Would you like the updated version of this? Just the,
Cause I was at that same meeting
yes.
and I had 5 sets of parents that were not there. And 4 no's and 2 maybes. So in my mind, the 5 sets of parents that couldn't vote, we're starting at 19, we're down to 14, we have 4 no's, we're down to 10, we have 2 maybes, we're down to 8. I'm just asking for a clarification.
Yes, okay, so who all were there?
Um,
No,
yeah,
Tegan.
no.
Tegan was a no for parents.
Kate was a yes.
Kate
But
was
his,
yes.
yeah, his parents weren't there, Lexi's parents weren't there. Wyatt was not there, but he had already said no.
What was it? And one of our maybes changed to a yes, I believe.
I believe Tyler was.
But we won't say that for certain, so we're just keeping this maybe.
His mom was there.
There was also a no whose
Lexi
mother
too.
said that if we did it later in the summer, that it would probably turn to a yes.
Do you remember?
I mean, I don't know if we're supposed to speak names or not, because they're not here. No, I'm not gonna speak for them either, but
yeah.
I'm just saying that
Yeah.
was brought up.
So as the people that were not there, we had Lexi, I'm not for sure about.
Lexi and Kate's parents were not there, and neither was Tegan's, and Tegan's parents are no.
So how many are in the class again?
19.
18?
19.
19? Okay.
Sorry. We should have named it written.
Questions? Anybody have questions concerning the trip, what the money's gonna be used for, et cetera?
How does it work as far as, like supervision, like who goes, like adults, how does that work?
Since it was
Question for them.
after graduation, we had parents volunteer as sponsors, so it would not be school sponsored.
Okay. And if money, okay, so kids that don't go, what happens to their money?
Sure.
Their share
yeah,
of
we
that class
visited-
funds.
Yeah, we discussed.
We visited a Starkey about that, and he doesn't want us just to hand the money
So
out.
it'd be reimbursed through caps, gowns, yearbooks, possible invitations, depending on how much everything costs.
Or even an alternate day trip or
Yeah,
whatever.
or they'd run the paintballing or whatever.
And like, I still all new to this type of stuff, so I have questions, but, so, if said money isn't used, what happens if it's not all used? Like, does it go, where does it go?
Typically, what our senior classes have done in the past is their excess funds, they have, opened an account at the bank downtown, and we've transferred it down there, and the treasurer's been in charge of it.
Can I speak to that?
Yep.
Devin graduated, it'll be 6 years this May. The money, I can't tell you for sure how much is in there. I've heard between 5 and 10. At one time I heard 7, and it's still sitting there.
Which is a reason why we wanted to go on a cruise, was to use the funds and it wouldn't just sit there.
So, how much money are we talking about?
Last count was, I think it was 600, 9,000, or sorry,
Like
6,000.
per-
Oh, per.
Per person,
No,
or
no.
what do you?
How
What's your
much-
total account balance?
Yeah, how much money do you have total, the whole class
Take your
at this
heads.
point?
It's like 6,900, I think.
It's almost 7,000.
6,900.
That's what they got in
88.
their account.
88.
So about 7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you gonna come up with the rest of the money?
Right now that
It
covers
it
the.
covers it.
Huh?
It covers it as of right now.
7,000 for the whole class to go on a cruise?
Well,
Yes.
for the
Sorry.
yeses.
Huh?
I've done
For the
looking into the
yeses.
pricing for the kids, yes.
But if every single student wanted to go, would it still cover it?
Yes.
Okay.
For 19.
Depending on which cruise they took.
We,
Okay, that's transportation and everything
Airfare,
there.
airfare.
We would be driving down, yeah, because we would port out of either Galveston or New Orleans. And we also discussed, not officially as a class, but some of us discussed that we would maybe pitch in $25 or $50 a piece, and then it would cover some of the extra costs.
the gas money.
Yeah.
And where does it go to? From Galveston?
Well, it depends on what's still available as of right now, but we were looking into like Mexican or Caribbean destinations.
And they talked about like a 5-day cruise, so, right?
Well, probably as of like now, it'd probably more 3 or 4 just because of availability. Because, yeah, things fill up pretty fast. And I think there would be before, probably one time for a 3 to 4 day.
Yeah.
Depending, sometimes it can be 2, but typically 1, depending on where you're going.
What is the price if they waited till after all the activities were done, including, you have, regional, regional and state athletic events, and then you have state FFA events?
It
You
goes,
want me to-
yeah, you can go ahead.
So what would the date be? I mean, after everything's
I
done,
don't know when
just so-
state FFA conference is, but
The
it's usually
beginning
right
of
after
June.
Memorial Day,
Okay.
yeah.
When the kids, and we were first looking into it, to go like the week after graduation, right there, it was like $395. You get 2 weeks into it, go into December, it's gonna double in price. Because it's summertime, people are on vacation, so it's
And
gonna be higher
we also
price.
talked about,
But they did have money for, we did look into 1 or 2 of them that, I mean, it would still be covered in the money.
and then also if we waited into like the beginning of August before people started moving for college, then the prices dropped some, not as
Not
much
as
as
much.
early, or in May, but they still do drop some.
Have any of the other classes done a trip like this, or are you guys setting precedents doing this?
I don't believe that anybody else has done a trip like this.
Not since we've
Yeah.
combined, not since we've combined.
Yeah.
There's been trips to like Texas before.
I think that was before we combined. 2001, I believe, is what one of our teachers said, is the last time they took an overnight trip.
Some of the surrounding high schools do take overnight trips. They go to different destinations. I know like Wilson's gone to New York.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Lakeside
So-
goes to Washington DC.
And I graduated from Eastern Colorado, and when I was a senior, anybody that wanted to, and this was voluntary, and again, we had a class-sponsored teacher that was spring break, and I understand that we don't take a spring break, but we ended up going to Philadelphia and New York, and that was outside of my senior class trip. Anybody that wanted to go had that opportunity, but
That's kind of what this is, cause I don't know, it's not
It's not,
during school,
mean, they will be graduated, the funds should be in their class fund, so it's not actually school money any longer. So that's kind of what they're bringing it to you, because I think the issue is they have to put a down payment, and until they graduate, the money's still overseen by the school and the school board, so. And obviously, they wanna include as many of their class members that can and want to go. I mean, they wanna take the trip as a class, one last big hurrah.
And I've witnessed these guys on more than one occasion. They put a lot of thought, hard work into looking up the information. They've all been considerate, considering everyone's responsibilities, or, you know, going to state with track and all that. And they really want it to be for the whole class.
How many sponsors do you think you're talking about for the class?
Well, so far it depends on how many go. And, you know, if you have boys, then you need male sponsors, obviously.
We originally planned about one sponsor for 4 students, I believe.
I think we have 4 for sure.
Yeah, we do have 4 that definitely said they would volunteer to go. Oh, that's true. Is that all easy? Oh yeah, and then we also had a family ask if we would mind if they went ahead and also booked tickets and then brought the rest of their family along. So they kind of made it into the class and a family vacation. So
That would take care of a male sponsor.
Yeah, do a male
if that
sponsor as
happened.
well.
And the sponsors will be paying out of pocket, it's not coming from class funds.
Any more questions from anyone? If not, I make a motion, we go into executive session to protect the privacy of individuals, and the justification is to discuss funding of the senior class trip, and to have Mr. Steckline and Mr. Starkey in executive session for 15 minutes. Then moved and seconded that we move into executive session for a period of 15 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel, and justification being to discuss funding of the senior class trip. All those any more discussion? Good?
Yep.
Good? Okay, we're back in open session. I make a motion that we do not allow the senior class of 2018-2019 to use any excess class funds for a cruise trip. Have a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded that we do not allow the class of 2018-2019 to use any excess class funds for a cruise trip. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now, before you all go away mad, let us explain why, okay? Because I know you're all wondering, okay? First and foremost, without any other thing, the bottom line is liability, okay? Mr. Steckline consulted with our school attorneys, KSB attorneys, okay? Even though that you guys take that money and you did raise that money, this board still has jurisdiction over that money and what it can't be spent upon, okay? And I know other classes still have money in the bank, which they haven't spent, okay? But by us allowing you to take that money and spend it individually still puts us liable for what happens. Okay, everyone knows that, you know, Mexico is not a real safe place. I don't care, even the good places in Mexico are not real safe anymore. So that's number one. I mean, that is the number one reason why we can't. Second of all, I think it's going to be in a day and age where school funding is a hot topic every year, gets hotter every year. It just looks bad, you know, that we're authorizing, that it actually is school funds to go on a cruise, okay? Now, it's a great idea. If I was sitting in you guys' chair, I'd be all in. I really would, okay? I mean, I'm all for a good time and fun and all that. I understand where you're coming from. Like I say, I'd be all in. But, you know, it looks, so number one, so like I say, it looks bad, you know, from a funding standpoint. I think, and anyone else chime in here if you want to say something, but I think that for future classes, and someone here in the group mentioned that they've already had somebody say that, you know, well, if they're going to be spending money for cruises, I'm not going to buy magazines or donate to this or that. So I think you're kind of setting a precedent for future classes, just like you're setting a precedent when you walk up and down the halls with your character and your behavior. You have little kids and other people looking up to you. So, so in that regard, you know, I think that's another reason why it doesn't look good for that to happen. And thirdly, you know, and I think we as a board need to really take a look at our policy on fundraising. If we're raising this much money, you know, maybe we need to cut back on some of that fundraising because, you know, we don't want to be knocking on people's doors all the time, you know, to sell magazines, to sell whatever it is we're selling. You know, so maybe we need, I think as a board, we're going to address our policy as to what we will allow and will not allow for fundraising. So, like I said, that is pretty much in a nutshell the reason why, you know, we sat around and we'd all discuss this. And like I say, anyone else want to
Well, I know we've been approached since I've been on the board by about 3 senior classes who've wanted to go on overnight trips and everything, and it's never have we really, since I've been on here, ever approved anything that's been overnight away. We've approved a lot of day trips and then this a following day trip without staying overnight, and that's just kind of the way it's been. Not that there's anything wrong with working on something different than that, but this is just a big step in something different than we've ever done as a board before, approving that. And I'm looking at it too. It's just I just don't think there's any way to limit our board liability, and also we can be held accountable personally as a school board member if something would go wrong. So that's about what I think.
I will commend you all for, I mean, obviously you've worked hard at this, and you've done your homework. And it was a good presentation. Nothing wrong with that. You know, I will commend you for that. You obviously give it some serious thought and a lot of thought, and that's good. You know, you guys can work with Mr. Starkey some more on how you do want to spend your money that you earned or raised. So I guess you know, that's our reasons. Anyone else?
I would like to just point out, just for your guys' knowledge, the only door-to-door
is the freshman magazine sales. All other account income comes from the concession stands you do sophomore and junior year. So I just wanted to inform you guys on that. Concessions would be plenty of money to put on prom. I mean, we don't necessarily agree with magazine sales either. I don't know
Well,
if you
and
guys
that's
care, but.
probably something we're gonna look real hard at,
Yes, but
as a policy, yes. Any other questions that you guys have? We're going to try to answer them.
so are like any overnight trips a no?
At this time, that's a yes. No, yes means no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's for liability reasons?
That is the number one reason. That's first and foremost. Even if none of this, without that, I still couldn't have voted for it. Okay. Even with everything else that I just got in saying, the liability is number one. Especially after Mr. Steckline, spoke to our KSB attorneys, and what the report he got back from him, or from them.
So I have a question on liability. How does it change from like a day trip to like an overnight trip? Like if we were to, like how we go to Worlds of Fun, if something were to happen and somebody like falls out of a roller coaster
Oh,
or
yeah,
something,
exactly.
how does that
But
differentiate?
it's all about percentages and odds. The odds of that happening are way less. I mean, you all could walk out of the door here today and I mean, we could have a school bus wreck tomorrow. I mean, it's all a possibility. It's just the odds are way, way less.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as like, other schools taking trips to like New York and places like that, how does that differentiate?
Well, number one, I think some of those schools have curtailed some of that. Number two, most of those are for educational purposes though.
No, and that's why I just wondered, cause I know
like
that
going on a band trip, or, where they're marching in the Macy's Day Parade, or going to Washington DC for.
They may just be willing to
government
accept the liability of it.
well, and that's
Right.
what I was wondering, because
Yeah,
they
I mean,
do trips that are not
They-
educational, because I don't think Hawaii is probably overly educational, but it'd be awesome. but-
Right, well, and I think I know the instance you're talking about, and I think, there were some issues with that too.
Yeah, I just.
Okay, and that's what we're trying to
They have
avoid,
taken, no, and
that's what we're
I
trying to
understand, that's why I was asking what the difference is.
If we're gonna err on the safe side.
Yeah,
And I mean, like I said, man, if I was 18 years old and sitting in you guys' chair, I'd be all in. I really would, but now I'm a stupid adult, and I grew up, so, anyone else?
Well, thank you for
Yeah,
listening.
Yes, thank you all very much, you're all great kids, you do a great job. It has nothing to do with anything like that, you're not a bunch of outlaws sitting out there, so, we all know that, and you guys do a great job, and we appreciate that, but it is what it is, so.
Those that were on the band trip today, I got 4 emails from other school superintendents say what great job you guys did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting,
They
or
start
you leave if you want.
I would, but I ran
No, that'll be in October.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
He'll be
you.
back.
Okay, well, we'll move on to, beginning of the year report.
Ms. Starkey?
Principal's report?
Well, it's all included.
Okay, you want me to go first?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the student count in our building. We have 73 in high school, 42 in junior high. That puts us 1 over what we had last year. Recent events, we hosted our high school volleyball tournament last weekend. Our girls won the tournament, had a good weekend. We had 2 teams drop out. Typically your volleyball tournaments, you want 8 teams to do pool plays and then brackets. We had 2 teams drop out. It's something we're hopefully gonna be able to address for the future, so we can make sure that we can run a good tournament, because it changed a little bit when you do 6 and you gotta play round robin. State fair band competition was today. We took our high school band, which has 43 students. We have 39 enrolled in choir, but they didn't go, just our band students. Then also our 8th grade band students, they got a 1 rating today, and we got a lot of compliments from them. Even some people at the elementary, I think, listened to it live, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Math testing will be starting over the next couple weeks. Subjects tested are reading, language usage, and math. This Wednesday we have Dane Hansen testing. We have 8 seniors who qualified for that. In order to qualify, you gotta have a 21 on the ACT and a 3.5 GPA. I think we had around 8 last year, so having that many qualify is positive for us. Lincoln Ag Day is on the 13th, and our FFA officers and upperclassmen FFA members will help run that for the elementary students. Next Wednesday is our advisory day for our 9 through 12 students from 2 to 3:30. The Green Hand Conference for first year FFA students is September 19th. We have 8 students scheduled to attend right now, so we'll have 8 Green Hand members in the FFA, which is a good number for 1 grade. Our blood drive that's held by the NHS will be on September 19th also. Acacia Count Day, September 20th. Once again, 1A is going together this year, so we're not going to have a Division I and Division II for anything but football, but we're expecting to be 1A. Stuco Regional Conference will be September 24th in Beloit for our Stuco members. KMEA, we're taking 12 high school students down to that at Bethany. They'll work on their solos for contests with clinicians. Homecoming week is October 1st through the 5th, and our theme this year is We've Got Game. Hoping to see a pinball float. Get it? Our Eco Meet, which is our plant and animal science kids, will go to the Eco Meet on October 3rd at Wilson Lake. We have 11 students enrolled in that class, so there's an elective science class where we got 11 kids. That's pretty good. And then I have a couple of notes on the back side. Athletics, Wilson's girls basketball. Wilson has not decided what they're going to do with their high school girls basketball. They would like to have their own team. I think they've kind of set that number at 8. They're not sure if they will have that. I think they still think they may have a student moving back into the district who would play. But they have reached out to some districts just to see what their thoughts were in terms of a possible co-op if they're not able to field their own team.
Are we one of them they've reached out to?
We are one of them they've reached out to.
Which would probably be about the closest for them, wouldn't it?
It would be about the closest. Now, they've co-opted junior high football with the school in their district and Central Plains. From the discussions we've had, if they were to co-op with us, it'd be 2 or 3 girls. But I just put that out there so you guys are aware of it and get any thoughts that you may have.
And how do their enrollment numbers look?
I
Would
think
we stay in 1A?
the number I got was 32, which, and of course, until it's September 20th,
yeah.
you can't guarantee
Right.
it. I'm thinking the cutoff will be around 120, but I could be wrong. And unfortunately, Wilson hasn't made a decision yet. They're still hoping they can play by themselves, so, I think it would put us close.
Okay.
Could drop to 110, I
Right.
don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
the numbers are gonna be. Concerns I have are we have a lot of seniors, and I think that's kind of tough, and Wilson only wants to do it for 1 year. And I think that's kind of tough. Most co-op agreements are for 2 years.
Right.
But I think Acacia has said that if they were to co-op, that we could do it for 1 year because it's a special circumstance. And personally, I don't think that's, a great, situation for us, to have those kids for 1 year. But it is also a neighbor school that,
Yeah, we'd like to work with our neighbors too,
yeah,
if we can.
yep. So,
But they are pretty good girls
yeah, I think
that
they're,
coming over,
yeah.
so somebody's gonna lose some playing time,
Right.
or vice versa. And Craig does a pretty good job rotating kids in, so, but I'm just throwing that out too.
So, there's really nothing for us to decide yet tonight.
No,
But by next month, we'll know,
Could be something just to think about if,
and,
We just about have to know next month,
I was gonna
because
say, what happened?
November 15 or so, they start
12th, I
practice,
think we
or
start on the
12th?
12th
Okay,
this year.
well,
so,
yeah,
yeah.
That'd still be early enough?
October 1?
No,
Or
or
next-
second
Oh,
month,
second
second
A
Monday,
month from now, is that gonna
Yeah.
be enough time to give
with
you?
Keisha and everything?
Yeah, get the plan all
Yeah, I'm not the
worked
one
out.
who's been contacting Keisha, so
Yeah.
Oh, that's been Wilson.
that's been
Yeah,
Wilson's been
and,
contacting
yeah,
them.
so we know, they contacted us,
Right.
we didn't contact
Oh,
them.
no.
Correct.
No.
Yeah,
And, you know, my last conversation with them was that they'd like to play their schedule and field a team,
Yeah,
and that's what
he's-
they're hoping for.
I think Tony's really trying,
Yeah.
Strokich, your AD, really trying to field the team.
The other
I think
school-
he just kinda went what our feelings were,
Right,
kind of the backup plan.
right. And then Toma wasn't able to field a volleyball team, but they've yet to decide on basketball.
So,
So how come they don't go with the Central Plains on the basketball?
My opinion would be that they probably bumped into 2A, and maybe they're afraid of that.
yeah, definitely probably would do,
But they've won 2A the last 5 years, so.
Right. So,
and they might not wanna go there, I don't know.
Yeah. And it's a longer bus ride for sure,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And so I see your next item there is personnel, and that's Rod Seagoff for boys basketball. Is that contingent upon
That
them?
is not contingent upon that.
Okay,
He's ready to move on that.
okay. I guess at this time, we just, take that all under advisement and see what happens, right?
Yep.
Okay. And be prepared to act on it next time, if we need to.
Yeah.
Okay?
the KMEA workshop
Yep.
on the 27th.
Mhm.
What's pre-qualifiers, or how do those 12 students get picked, or what's,
It starts with, are you wanting to take a solo to regionals?
okay,
That's really what determines that.
okay.
I know that she had a couple of kids this year that wanted to go, but didn't want to do solos,
Okay.
and they're not going.
The advisory day,
Yes, each staff member, we have about 13 staff members are assigned, about 5 or 6 students, and that's where we do our individual plans of study, and we start looking at careers, planning for colleges, things like that. The freshmen will be doing all their assessments, their interest surveys, their, I think what the other one is, ability survey, things like that, and it'll kick back some careers to start thinking about. And we meet once in the fall, once in the winter, and once in the spring.
So we need a motion then to.
Yeah, for right.
Yeah. Any more questions for Mr. Starkey, his report? Except for the final item.
seniors presented to site council on graduation caps. And they got some positive feedback on it, so they will be coming in October there also. Something to think about for next month.
I'll make a motion, we hire Rod Seehoffer as the high school boys basketball assistant for the 2018-2019 school year.
Second. Then moved and seconded that we hire Mr. Rod Seehoffer, for the high school boys, assistant basketball position for the 2018-2019 school year. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I guess next thing actually is follow up on security.
Yeah, that's part of my report, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we can start with that. Basically, everything's done except a couple of things. We're still waiting for the door to come in, because we had to order that special order, the kitchen door, the back kitchen door, so we're waiting on that yet. But everything else is done. The other thing is that the sheriff's department, we're still, it's on our end, we've got to get the, working on the filter system and the, basically get Dr. Neal to work that out with the sheriff's department, so we're trying to get that done. The other thing is just we have some glitches with the timing, and that's kind of computer, getting the times right when the doors are open, when they're closed between the shop, I think is the big one for there. And we've got one door over there that we've got to work on at the grade school with timing. So other than that, it seems to be working. Flob's been working with teachers, so been pretty good. We do have a thing, we're trying to, got a call into them about if a door is left open somehow, if it would let us know. I think somehow if we can work that in, that would be a good thing. So I'm kind of working that with him, see if we can get that done. So anyway, that's where we at on that. But I think for the most part, it's working pretty good. So except for those two things we're still working on. Any questions on that?
I saw Dave with File Safe
Okay.
last week, and he said, have Dr. Neal contact him.
Right.
He's got some cheats on how to get around some of the systems and the firewall and whatnot.
Dave has it?
Yes, he could give Dr. Neal some input or direction on getting around that.
The firewall. Okay.
And whatever problems they're currently having.
As far as the grade school, our enrollment, we're down a little bit, about 7, which we knew we would be. K through 12, K through 6, we're at 110. Kindergarten, we have about 14. First grade, 15. Second grade's our small class, 10. We have third grade, 16. Fourth grade, 17. Fifth grade, 20. And sixth grade, 18. Our pre-K 4 has 15 kiddos in it. And our pre-K 3 would have 10. Again, class are a little bit smaller, but still we can stay around that 15 mark. That's pretty good numbers for our grade school. So we're still looking pretty good on that. Other things we're going on, the speaker we had, Mr. Stark, the speaker presented at the high school and also at the grade school, did a great job. Kind of a good opening, get the kids fired up. But the grade school talking about bullying and those type of things, so he was really did a great job. All the teachers really liked him, the kids did too, really got him going. This Wednesday, we have the body venture for the grade school K through 6 over to Lincoln. We're taking kids over there in the morning. We did that a few years ago, we're going to do it again. Thursday, we're going, third and fourth graders are going to the Lincoln Farm show, and that's over in Lincoln also. September 28th, we got something we're kind of excited about. We're going to the Great Bend Air Show. They're going to be having, where they're air base, they're having a ceremony there going over the B-29 bombers and things like that. A lot of other things going on, so we're going to take our 4, 5, and 6 graders to the, I think it's Friday, September 28th. So we'll look for sponsors. Anybody like to go to that, let us know. It's going to be a good thing, I think. We hope anyway. So we've been invited to that.
That sounds like it's up your alley.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there.
Oh, you're going to be there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. 2 B-29s, the only 2 flying B-29s left are going to both be at the Great Bend that weekend.
Oh.
And I've seen them both fly before at sunrise. They're at the same time.
Our grade school staff, they're busy. We'll have a grade school staff will be in starting next week, or excuse me, next month, presenting. But I think we're off to a good start. Our paras, our school psych, very good. We feel very fortunate on that. Our social worker, of course, we'll get 2 days a week, but she's doing a really good job. Really like her. Speech teachers, we got 2 new speech teachers. Really good upgrades from last year. So as far as the new staff, I think they're doing a good job. We got a new para from Beloit Special Ed. She's doing a good job. So I think the new staff overall been doing. Feel pretty happy about it, at least right now. So anyway, that's going good. We did have issue, or not an issue, but Sarah Heller was here about bus at the site council about busing and about the length of the Hunter bus route, and I thought I'd shorten it, but I guess not. But anyway, so I'll be looking at that again, see if we can't switch some people. But also she brought up some issues about maybe paying mileage to some people that would want to do that. Again, we've never done that. I'm going to visit with some of the other districts. I know Wilson does it, and also I think Ellsworth does it also. Victoria paying mileage. Anyway, so we're going to try to make, not for this year anymore, but we're going to do a survey. She also talked about bus stops, maybe having a place where kids can come and have a bus stop if parents want to do that. But anyway, she brought up some issues, and she brought some maybe some problem solving that might solve the issues. So we're going to look at some of those things. So but right now, I'm going to try to shorten that route, the Hunter route, right now. So I thought I did, but apparently not. But anyway. So anyway, those are some things we're going to be looking at, and see if we can put a survey together and see how many might be interested in those type of things. Anyway, that's a long discussion on that, which was good. We talked about security drills. Did you talk about that?
No, but I think, did we talk about that last week?
Oh, I guess.
The new requirements?
Yeah, okay. You got to do that. Yep.
The nine
Yep,
systems.
yep.
Have you done any yet?
No, we will, my plan is to tell the staff which one we're doing this month, but
Yeah.
it has to be unannounced, so
Yeah.
I'll walk through the procedure during our faculty meeting on Wednesday, and then sometime after that will be September. By law, we can only give 5 minutes notice.
Okay.
Supposed to. Yep. Anything else? KESB Fall Regional. Again, we'll have a meeting before that, but you might want to check your calendars. October 18th at Beloit.
What time's that start?
It starts at probably 3:30.
That just come tonight.
Yes, the first part of the meeting. Nope, 5:30 to 6:30. 5:30. It starts at 5:30. First part of the meeting from 5:30 to 6, and then we go combined meeting from 6:30 to 8. That's right. We did that last year. So anyway, I'll remind you. I'll bring it up again next meeting. Somebody would like to go. There it is.
It's a Thursday.
Is that a Thursday?
It's a
Okay.
Thursday, yeah.
That's all I have.
No, we should be done by then.
You want to talk about our in-service day? the
Oh, yes.
Alice training?
In-service day I thought was great. I thought the staff liked it. I thought we learned some things. I know we kinda did some of that, but I think it was a little different again, a little different philosophy. So, overall, I thought it was good. Anyway, it's things we have to think about, not that we want to, but it's the day and age that we're in, and we have to, make sure we have to be progressive and try to do things, at least we have an idea of what we're gonna be doing, so. Anyway, and the state's kinda forcing us to do it also, so. So I think with the security system and what we're doing, I think it's, I think we're making some steps, so. We'll keep working at it.
And I'm still recovering. I got attacked by a chair.
Oh, that's right. I saw the board president on the floor sometime.
Yeah.
More than once.
More than one.
Yeah. No, it was, I was there, Dave was there.
Yeah,
It was-
appreciate you guys
It was a
coming.
good day. I mean, I think,
Good questions and
good
interaction with
questions,
staff.
good results, and some positive thinking went into it. Raised a few eyebrows. So I think it was all good. I mean, I didn't spend the whole day, but I was here in the morning, so. And I thought it was very good. I'm sure, I think we all, if you see the Russell County Sheriff's Department, those guys did a really good job
Yep.
presenting that.
They did.
If you have occasion to meet one of them, you might tell them, thanks for the good job. Yeah. And Lincoln County.
The Lincoln was here too,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Sheriff Weigel and Under Sheriff Florence were here too, so, and helped with it, so.
Felt pretty safe that day.
Yep, we're in good hands. So,
That's all.
anything else?
Yeah.
Got anything, Kendra?
I do not.
Laura?
The best thing was brought up to me, so I'm
Yeah.
glad that maybe we can assess it.
Yep.
Um,
Look at it.
Need to get it squared.
Well, tonight we had a sub driver, first
Yes.
sub, so she
It
got a
was
little,
5 o'clock
yeah,
when
a little,
mine got dropped off,
Yeah.
so.
she got lost, so, yeah, not lost, but,
No.
Yep.
The little ones did a pretty good job directing her,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
so for the most part, so.
well, she had a map, but anyway, it's, hopefully she'll be better next time, so.
That happened in Wichita a while back. Did you hear that? I had a sub driver, and the kids were trying to tell him where to go, and he went clear to the other side of town.
All right.
The kids knew where they were supposed to go, so it happens. Virgil, do you have anything else?
Not tonight, I don't.
I just had, yeah, the whole bus thing about, whether, how we can contact parents if somebody's gonna be late or something.
Right.
And then the other thing I had was, the bus drivers' pictures are not in the yearbooks. They're the only people that work for the school that aren't in the yearbooks, and so I had a request that we put their pictures in the yearbooks.
They used to be.
I thought
Yeah, they
were-
usually are.
It just says not pictured, they're not in the elementary school yearbook.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I know it has
Aren't
some-
they in this one?
Yeah, I didn't look in here, I just looked in here, and it just says not pictured
They're in high school? I was gonna say, I didn't go.
bus
look.
drivers.
We take a picture anyways.
Huh?
That's a
School board.
I don't think we ever put them in, but the weekend though. Okay. I thought you were talking about the high school.
I
Cause
know.
I knew we
I
took
hadn't
them.
looked in the high school
Yeah.
yearbook yet, just this one.
See if they're in there. I know we took a picture of them.
I saw it somewhere, yes.
Cause that's all I had.
Okay.
Dave, you have anything else?
Question as far as online classes go. If there's a problem with an online class, a specific, and how many online classes are we offering currently?
Well, it depends whether, we offer 2 in-house through cloud, which are psych and college algebra. But we also have the opportunity for students to take an independent study and
Okay.
then take a class that fits into their program of study for college.
And with the online classes, if there's a problem, who is that student supposed to speak to? directly to you, or to the counselor, or to the college, or,
Linda Herring is our coordinator for that.
okay, for
But-
any online?
Correct,
Through
but
Cloud.
she's gonna direct them to who they need to talk to at Cloud
Okay,
for those two classes.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Anything else either? Laura?
You wanna go home? Motion to adjourn.
I got all night.
Second?
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Actually, I don't have, the radios are on tonight, so,
Oh.
unless we can turn the TV off.
Executive session for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't see my read pass in this.
Oh, I got it at
Oh.
Lucas.
Oh, that's all right.
Yep,
Which-
forgot to bring it.
Yeah, we got
Yep,
the deal.
I do have it. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.